Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on European Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it was sent to me by one of our admin who received this confession. The confession, it reads like this. Hello, how are you? Can you please post my own story as hidden identity? Please, when you post my story, inform me so that I can follow through in the comment section. So my own story, it goes on like this. So a lot of people, they think that they know all about blood money, but you do not know. Trust me, most of the people, all that they see is people who are said to be in these occultic clubs, driving your luxury cars, the mansions and beautiful clothes, and above it all, beautiful women. But what you do not see, what you do not know, is the nightmare that you have to go through each and every day when you go to bed, the screams of your loved one when you would have sacrificed them. Because when you kill someone through a money-making ritual, that person, the way that they die, they do not have a peaceful death. It is always horrible. So they scream the way that your relative would be screaming at the time of their death, the way that they will be screaming, you keep on hearing the echo in your head. It will destroy your soul as if it is some sort of a spiritual disease. I am sharing my story because I wish to warn other people before they can make the same mistake that I made. As for me, I made the biggest mistake in my life. So my story, Brother Nashi, it goes on like this. It was all about greed and desperation. That was what made me to become whom I am right now. But there is no more going back. What I did has its own consequences, for you cannot have a deal with the devil and then you can walk away scot-free. I am here to confess all the things, all the evil things that I did. And if you are thinking of entering the world of money-making rituals, let me tell you the truth that no one else will. This is a life you will regret until the day that you die. So it all started in Lagos, where I was living after I had graduated from university. I am someone that has a degree, but the problem with our country, it is a country of unemployed graduates. Almost everyone that I know has some sort of a degree, but there are no jobs. I had my own degree, but like many other, there was no job that was waiting for me. After months and months looking for work, going around and always being promised, being told, come back on this day. When you go back, then you will be told that there is no work. I was broke and I was frustrated. I was watching everyone around me, friends and neighbors, suddenly living the good life. I knew something was not right, but they never said much. They were the kind of people we had nothing like last year, and now suddenly they were driving flashy cars and buying houses in Lekki and Banana Island. One of them was one of my own friends. So I had grown up with this friend of mine whom I'll call Chinedu, not his real name. We grew up together, and whilst I was struggling, his life had turned around. So I thought that this guy was now a Yahoo boy because he was someone who really loved technology, always playing with computers. So when I saw him driving a very big car, I said, that is it. This guy, he is now a Yahoo boy. He had moved from our small village to Lagos and was living like a king. When I asked him how he had managed to do it, he would always brush me off, saying that it is God's blessings. And the church where I am going to right now, that is where I got these blessings from God. But I knew that it was not just prayer. I knew that there was a little bit of criminality that he was being involved in. Little did I know that this guy was not a criminal, but he was now involved in the occultic world. And even though he was saying that the prayers were the ones that had gotten him his new Benz that he was driving, because no matter how hard I had tried to pray, my life was not changing. So why had his life changed like that? Deep down, I knew that something was up with this guy, but I did not want to face the truth. One evening, I had reached my breaking point. I nearly committed suicide. Do you know that? I was broke, jobless, living in a dingy apartment with no future in sight. That was when I picked up the call. I was desperate. I told him that people had caught me trying to commit suicide. In my desperation, I called Chinedu and told him that I was ready. Whatever you did to make this money, I am in, my brother. Show me the way. He paused on the phone and asked, "Are you okay? You just told me that there are people who caught you trying to commit suicide. Are you okay?" And I said, "Yes, I am okay, but I think that I will commit suicide if I get that chance." And he said, "Okay, so you have said that you want me to show you the way. Are you sure? Because once I show you the way, there is no going back." At that moment, all that I could think about was getting out of my miserable life. I did not care what it took. I told him yes. That was the first mistake. 2 days later, he picked me up in his car and we drove for hours out of Lagos into a remote village in Ogun State. There was no signboard, no GPS, nothing to indicate where we were going. Eventually, we arrived at a small compound, and there, sitting outside a hut, was an old man with piercing red eyes. He did not speak much. He did not need to speak a lot of things with you. He simply looked at me, and I felt a cold chill running down my spine. Chinedu told this man that I was the one whom he had been speaking about. Chinedu told me that this man also was a powerful Babalao who had made all his wealth possible. He told me and he said, once you do what he says, you will never suffer again, but you have to know that it comes with a price. I did not know how deep this price went, but I was too blinded by greed to even care. As for that, Babalao did not waste any time. He asked me one question and he said, "Who are you willing to sacrifice?" When he said, "Who are you willing to sacrifice?" I froze. I said, "Sacrifice?" I thought maybe they meant giving up something small like money or any of my belongings, but this was different. He was asking for a life. I started to panic, but Chinedu put his hand on my shoulder and said, "Relax, you don't have to do anything. The ancestors will take care of it." I was too scared to speak, but the greed inside me pushed me forward. The Babalao gave me a small pot and told me to take it home. He said I had to put it under my bed for 7 nights, for 7 nights, and make sure no one else touched it. Then on the 8th day, I had to come back to the village. The first night I could not sleep. I kept hearing whispers in the room, but no one else was there. The second night, I had nightmares of people screaming, but every time I woke up, the room was silent. By the 5th night, I started seeing things, shadows moving in the corner of my eye, flashes of blood in my dreams. Still, I told myself that it will all be worth it. On the 7th day, that was when the Babalao called me and told me that I had to make a decision. If I wanted the money, I had to offer a close family member as a sacrifice. And he said that the gods were going to be the ones that were going to assist me. I did not know what to do because I felt my heart was racing, but my mind kept on thinking about the life that I could have. I would be able to take care of my mom. I would be able to have the most beautiful woman get married to her. That was when I felt that something in me snapped, and I made a choice that haunts me and will haunt me forever. That was when I offered one of my family members. Yes, I offered one of my family members, and that was when my brother was found dead. He had been killed. Who had killed him? No one even knows. But that Babalao told me that I was not supposed to be even worried, even his death, if I was going to hear that he had been involved in a car accident, murdered, or whatever. It was not going to be an accident, but it was part of the ritual. His own demons were the ones that were going to go and kill him. The money started flowing in, and I got job offers out of nowhere. My business took off, and I became rich, richer than I had ever imagined. But the problem you see now is the money. The problem with the money is that I am not allowed to take care of my own mom. All that I am allowed to do is to hang around with these beautiful women of the night, give them money, drink, smoke, and take drugs. And as for my friend, he is enjoying this life. He does not care anymore. All that he does is to party and to party. He can go for a week every day, taking drugs, drinking alcohol. He does not care. But as for me, I am regretting. If there is anyone out there who might want to ask me, if they ask me, is it really worth it? I'll say no. If I could turn back the hands of time, I would have gone back and stayed poor. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our admins who received this message.